Emerald Downs Weekly, another edition. Hope you have enjoyed the show this year, and still plenty of more action on Thursday nights on NBC Sports Northwest and Friday mornings as well. Joe Withy, Gary Doherty, and Phil Ziegler here for more stuff from Emerald Downs, and maybe some other tracks. Who knows?
I know. How's it going?
That's where we go, fellas. Good to see you. And into the second half of the season, coming off a huge day, a stakes quadruple header last Sunday, Premio Esmeralda. We'll be talking about that. And we are just less than 3 weeks now to the 84th Long Acres Mile Championship Sunday. More on that in the show. Just a little taste of what's going on this weekend, Gary.
Yeah, we got racing all 3 days, starting Friday night at 6:30. Lisa Mitz will be performing outside between the races, horseshoe toss, and drink specials. Saturday, Phil, our first Pride Night.
Yes, presented by Jack Daniels, and we're looking forward to that. Post time 5 o'clock with great music. Upstairs on the 5th floor, immediately after racing, we have tributes to Prince and Wham. Mm-hmm. Purple Mane and the George Michaels, I believe, are the band
That's
names.
correct.
Yep.
Right after that last race, head up to the 5th floor. Good times, lots of good music. Casino next door. Enjoy your whole Saturday here at the racetrack. And then on Sunday, a family fun day, which also includes a kids race on the racetrack.
Pretty popular.
It was
first
fun
time
last time. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we have
Great response.
Oh, look at that kid back there. Gary, related to you?
He's the right height anyway.
Yeah,
he's a little heavier than most kids, but
he's got gray hair.
So am I, for that matter. But
he snuck in there.
Well, at least put me in first place next time.
Well, that's not even realistic.
True.
Okay.
I know. It was a lot of fun. We had about 100 kids last time.
Those pictures could all fit in our correction segment that we did last year. Somebody asked me about that. Why don't you do the corrections? I said, well, there's too many of them.
There's too many. That's right.
Too many of them to go over. So.
Now, Gary, you're not going to be here on Sunday to start the race, so I
no,
guess
we got to find an official starter for Sunday.
Dean Mazuka, he's always up for that.
Yes,
stuff.
that's a good pick, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hey, let's get back to some racing on our previous weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday at Emerald Downs. Frank Lucarelli, our leading trainer, had a tremendous week, and he wins the second race. He kicked things off early last week. This was quite a win. Look at this horse in the green cap there, one off the rail. That's Brahms Forest. And, at the 3/16 pole, it looks like the inside-outside was going to get him. Look at this horse try and win and win. Mm-hmm. What a great victory by Brahms Forest, and that is Javier Matias aboard, Frank Lucarelli's first win, and that's Dean Mazuka's 2 putts for the win stable. That horse is now 3 for 5 at the meeting, so having a very good first year up here at Emerald Downs. Okay, Lucarelli's barn. Let's go on to race number 3, and jockey Gary Wales was, I believe he was looking for his 27th consecutive day with a win. Mm-hmm. He gets it here on Salty Little Lass, a 2-year-old filly who pulled away as the favorite. Nice victory there, and Gary Wales. Quite the streak going, our leading rider, heading into another weekend. Good win there. If nothing else to add, let's go on to race number 4. Steve Bullock had taken the first race on the card, going a mile with Jade Native, and he's going to get the second. Look at this Chief Osceola, who has found a new home at 2 turns. So Steve Bullock won 2 one-mile races on Friday. And that is Chief Osceola getting up right on the line. And, that rider right there on Chief
Kevin
Osceola. Boy, what a recent July. Well, in July he's had. We're going to go over that a little bit.
Yeah.
His record in July.
He
is tightening things up a bit on leading jockey Gary Wales. Feature race was older horses at 5.5 furlongs. Let's hear Tom Harris call the finish of that one.
Big Hat Charlie still chasing on the outside. Back at the Real Maurice code, but in deep stretch, it's Lawan who keeps pounding away and opens up by 3. Lawan and Gary Wells take it by 3.
Vince Gibson trainee, Gary Wales aboard once again. That horse is, he's a sharp sprinter, Lawan. He has 3 starts at the meeting, 2 wins and a second. He's changed hands a couple times recently as well, but Vince Gibson had him there. So
and guess who has him now, Phil? Who claimed him for $10,000?
John Parker.
That's right, John Parker.
our co-leading owner, looking for his third title.
Co-leading now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Chad Christensen had a big week to create a tie up at the top. So, also last weekend, well, that's some good action on Friday night, Fab Friday. Of course, sign up for the horseshoe toss when you come in. We're bound to have somebody throw a ringer one of these years or Friday night.
Somebody who could actually win the money.
Yeah. So, hey, Saturday we had the mechanical bull back at Emerald Downs. It was pretty popular last year, so we tried it again this year, Gary.
Yeah, it was a country night. We brought it back, brought the bull back. Had some great country music out by the winner's circle, and I attempted to write it once again.
There's Gary.
What kind of
he wasn't
going
to do it.
Phil, you'd let him wear jeans to the races on country night. You got to wear jeans, man. You slide right off if you wear slacks.
Gary's not too happy here. There's the I don't know the gentleman's name operating the ride.
Billy.
Billy?
Yeah.
So Billy.
He's stalling.
We told Billy to put it on the absolute slowest possible speed that there is for this bull.
And thank God we had security around.
Well, Gary's walking about as slow as he possibly can, too, here to get things
He knows he's got no chance of getting up. That wasn't even close.
We saw. Is this last year or this year?
Now, but Ron Bowman, our great security officer here at Emerald Downs, also horse owner, Ron Bowman comes to the rescue here and gives him a leg up somehow. Now, listen to what Gary says right here. Listen.
Oh, geez, he almost got impaled by the horn.
Oh, Phil.
Gary says, slow down. The thing isn't moving. The guy's like, now, slow down. Here we go. The slowest possible setting.
1,000.
It's going to go around, and there you go.
1,002.5. That's 8 times longer than you lasted last year.
I love it. Slow down.
Yeah.
It's not even moving.
Thank you, Roy. I appreciate the assistance.
Yeah, we'd still be off the bull.
Yeah, let's see what happened. Compare this to last year, Gary.
Well,
let's see how long you're on the bull.
Better style last year.
All right, let's see. And you don't. Well,
that was about a 3/4 of a rotation.
Wow.
Okay, well, that's.
I gave my best shot.
Yeah.
You're in such.
Wear jeans.
You're in better shape this year.
Wear jeans next
Thank
year.
you. Yeah, and maybe some.
What was that, Phil?
He's in such better shape this year. You could tell.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, Fiesta Premio Esmeralda was this Sunday at Emerald Downs. Wow, that thing is just very popular. It always seems to be a bright, sunny day, and those dancing horses, all their training, along with the caballeros going on the track before the first race, and the bailadores, the dancers in the winner's circle, were quite the sight as well. But really a great crowd as we recognize the many contributions of the Hispanic community in thoroughbred racing here at Emerald Downs on Premio Esmeralda Domingo. I said that a few times.
Yes.
My Spanish, I added a few words. In fact, I kind of startled Javier Matias with a little Espanol.
And I noticed many cervezas were had by all during the races. Over 9,000, right?
Yeah,
Phil?
over 9,000. We had lots of vendors and great food in the park and lots of families out here. It was a long day. And there's your picture of the week taken by Reed Palmer.
Lots of color in that.
Yes,
Azul is predominant.
Yes.
I don't know if that's a Spanish word. Azul is blue. Okay, we're going to take a time out, come back and look at more racing from Emerald Downs last weekend, talk about this weekend more on Emerald Downs Weekly.
A split screen.
Señorita es muy bonita.
Slow down, Gary. Slow down.
Emerald Downs Weekly continues. What's this, our 14th week of the season? 15th? We're going to hear about the Trifecta King.
Joe, it's been a long
on
time.
Week number 15. So, Gary, take it away. You had a successful weekend.
Yeah, believe it or not, I think I was around $500 behind the program. And Friday night, I had a $4 trifecta with each ticket paying $61. So 8 times 60 was $480.
Damn.
So I profited $460 for Friday night. Then I came back Saturday, Phil, and on Saturday the King hits his trifecta. He gets that $1 medallions in the King Square.
And those medallions are good for $1 beer.
At North or South Suds.
Yes.
So I wasn't sure how many people are going to show up down there.
He got mobbed.
He got mobbed. Well, actually, the gold coins get mobbed. That's what
Gary
Yes.
has never been this popular. Look at this.
Nope. So I hit that trifecta for about $84, so $60 profit. So I'm about even for the year, and every Saturday, if the King hits his trifecta and shows a profit, I'll be down there handing out those medallions, Joe.
Follow that on Saturday. Trifecta
Wow.
King scores. All right. Hey, some racing on Saturday. Let's go to that first race on the card. Once again, 5 p.m. post time on Saturdays at Emerald Downs. Great twilight card and evening action. This was a good ride here right off the bat in race number 1. Franklin Sabalos put Philly Can Dream on the lead, and she went all the way up front, just took it to him. And that's Frank Lucarelli again. There he is, Sabalos aboard, daughter of Coast Guard. And Frank Lucarelli, after a double on Friday night, which we're used to seeing him win a lot, he won 3 races on Saturday. Let's move on Saturday to race number 4. And Patty Lydon, I think this was the Trifecta King race. Patty Lydon, the trainer, Wayne McDonald's younger sister, she's doing great here at Emerald Downs. And the winning horse is Angel of Montgomery, just dominated there. Patty Lydon, trainer, that's Ryan Barber aboard. He had a triple on Saturday.
There's Gordy in the winner's circle.
Yeah, Gordy, good friends with Patty Lydon, who is now 10 starters.
10 starters.
3 wins, a second and 3/3. 7
Not
out of
bad.
10 in the money. Yeah, she's doing really well. And moving on Saturday evening now, let's go to the 6th race at Emerald Downs. And this was a contested heat, as we can see. Chad Christensen's been in the game about a year exactly. He claimed Cross Creek in July of 18, and that's Cross Creek winning in July of 19, after also winning in May. Cross Creek for Chad Christensen, trainer Frank Lucarelli, 8-1. That horse always seems to pay well when he wins, and that was a good field there. Of course, Mike Mann's Gold was seeking a record Emerald Downs 22nd victory, but Cross Creek too good.
Did he run 1-2 in that race? Both,
he did.
Both are big odds?
Golden Cowboy, also with Chad Christensen coming on for second, who was just claimed, and looks like he fits off the claim. So Frank Lucarelli, our leading trainer, coming in, just extending things this weekend at Emerald Downs. Let's go on to race number 7 and hear Tom Harris's call of the Saturday night feature.
Grinder sparks aglow, takes the lead now with a furlong to go. Boundary Bay is chasing at the inside as they're sent down for the drive. On the outside, the press with a late say, 70 yards for home. Grinder sparks aglow, holding them off, and Grinder sparks aglow wins it by a length and a half.
How about that 8-year-old Washington bred? What a great career that horse has had. Juan Gutierrez aboard there for trainer Robbie Bays and Richard Senna. 14 career wins now, 7 at Emerald Downs, 7 at Portland Meadows. And, he'd been running against Any Port in the Storm his last couple, got away from that horse and just dominated that race. That was impressive.
Yeah, and now I don't know if they'll consider going back against maybe for the mile or something like that. You never know.
I'm saying that horse has never been better. He is really running well as an 8-year-old. So congratulations there. That was the Saturday feature, and Grinder Sparks the Glow took it. Upo was second. Let's go on to the, what are we going to do, the 8th and final on Saturday. Let's take a look at that one. And the reason for that is because this was Tom Harris's long shot play of the day. Victoria's Secret wins it, and also Ryan Barber had a triple. Ryan Barber riding pretty darn well. Victoria's Secret 10-1. Steve Bullock, his 3rd win of the week.
Yeah.
There is a daughter of Coast Guard with her maiden victory, and Tom does his one long shot play per day. He got that one at 10-1. Nice pick, Tom.
It's impressive.
All right, so we want to go right on to Sunday's racing, and again, Premio Esmeralda, Domingo, Sunday. 4 stakes races, and 2-year-olds getting in action in stakes activity. Let's take a listen to the King County Express.
Show Me the Mints leads the charge inside the final furlong. Brett is chasing from the inside. Back third, ready to star. But Show Me the Mints and Kevin Orosco are on their way in the King County Express.
That horse was bet down quite a bit. Went off at 3-5 in an 8-horse stake field. Frank Lucarelli, the winning trainer, and Billy Greenstein, the winning owner of Billy Speed Racing Stable. Kevin Orosco, after a double last week, and he won both stakes the weekend before, and he starts off Sunday with a stakes victory. Nice job. Show Me the Mints, undefeated in 2 starts. The Philly stake was the Angie C, and For You Only took it for trainer Howard Belvoir. Owners Pegasus 2, Dixie Hitchcock, Dave Matsumoto, Jennifer Whitaker aboard. That had 11 runners in it, that Angie C, and 11-1 For You Only won it after just one career start. She was third, so that was a nice victory. Howard Belvoir. More about Belvoir's success in 2-year-old stakes races.
That was also
up.
Jennifer Whitaker's 20th Emerald Downs Stakes win. She leads all women all time here at Emerald Downs with 20.
Yeah, the only woman, of course, to win the mile.
Yep.
7th race, the Boeing Stakes, and a field of 9 with 7 stakes winners in action. So Bellamia did go off at 3-2 for trainer Blaine Wright, who, of course, has been dominant. Let's watch and listen to the finish of the Boeing.
And racing on is Patty Secret now, right there to square off with the leader. These two go stride for stride. A late save from Blazing Beauty, grandstand side. 50 yards to the finish. On the inside, Patty Secret. Now No Talking Back has got there. Split Horse is late to win it.
No Talking Back for Jody Pete's One Horse Will Do Corporation and Steve Shimizu. She had just a great season last year. Numerous stakes placings. And, of course, taking a stakes race at the end of the year, Scott Stevens rode her for the first time, and he got her there. There was a lot of back and forth. The pace was hotly contested between Guardian 1 and Bellamia.
Yep.
But no talking back.
He should visit more often.
Yeah.
Scott Stevens.
Oh, boy.
Pocket full of money.
That's right.
It was
First
neat
time,
to,
what, he go 2 for 2 in his
Yep.
first day
Yeah.
he rode here? Yeah.
And it's fun to see the owners of this horse all in the paddock with their bright purple No Talking Back T-shirts. And by golly, this time they charged down to the winner's circle and got in the picture.
Boy, they
That was
believed
fun.
because
Yes.
she had not been placed in her 3 previous starts this year. No Talking Back took the Fan Appreciation Day last year around 2 turns. So good things from her, Washington bred. And the Mount Rainier Stakes, any port in the storm, of course, skipping the Mount Rainier after winning the Governors and the Budweiser. He's headed toward the mile, the best horse on the track, but still several in the race, and I think we only had 1 stakes winner in this race, 2, Elliott Bay and Hit the Beach, as opposed to the Boeing. 2 different races. Let's hear and watch.
Final furlong away now. On the outside, Oh Marvelous Me is on. They're sent down for the drive. From between horses, El Herfano. On the attack is More Power to Him. On the outside, More Power to Him wins the Mount Rainier.
Kevin Orosco aboard for trainer Faith Taylor. Faith Taylor sent the horse up to the K. Cooper barn, who took good care of him. There's Bryson Cooper. And Kevin Orosco had the riding duties for breeder owner Brett Mason. More Power to Him was up here a couple years ago, ran in the Seattle Slew and the Derby. Finished a fairly close third to Riser in our Derby 2 years ago.
Yeah, and you interviewed Brett after the race, and he says they're staying right here with the horse and
That's right.
going for the Long Acres Mile.
That's right. More Power to Him by Slews. 'Tis now a 5-year-old Cal bred. Ran down El Huerfano, who was the favorite. Oh Marvelous Me, another good effort by him. But we've got a horse headed toward the mile, as Phil said.
Yeah.
So that was a nice finish. Some stretch runners. We had the field size was 9 horses a race for the 4 stakes on Sunday. We've got our best stakes field size since 2006 going, after a good year at that last year. So that is all interesting. And I think the handle reflected.
Over $2 million, Phil?
Yeah, and 50 Cent, we had an all-stakes pick 4.
Right.
I don't have that payout in front of me,
I think I
but
paid around $900.
yeah, so I think it was over
$960.
$900 for 50 cents.
Yeah,
Big handle.
961.
That's how tough it is to hit those races. I mean,
Well, Yeah. Okay, Kevin Orosco is now the leading stakes jockey at Emerald Downs. All 4 of those stakes wins are over the last 2 weekends. 6 stakes run, Kevin's won 4. He's ahead of Juan Hernandez, who's got a pretty fair mark in his stakes mounts there. 3 wins, 3 seconds from 6. Franklin Ceballos, who was injured, of course, on Sunday in a spill, was complaining of some back pain. He did go to the hospital, was released on Monday. He's going to be wearing a brace for a while, but boy, all systems go. He's on his feet, and he will have some recovery time. But Franklin, good news on that end.
Yeah, such a nice guy, and we wish him the best in his recovery.
Right.
Probably won't ride again this season,
Yeah.
but it looks good for a full recovery and hopefully a return to racing.
Yeah, it's great to hear he's released the next day. All right, we'll take a time out, break. We're going to be back here on Emerald Downs Weekly. Emerald Downs Weekly, racing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 6:30, 5 p.m. Saturday, 2 p.m. on Sunday. We talked about Kevin Orosco, recent resurgence, and yeah, he is doing quite well. Of course, winning those stakes races, the 50,000s, is good for the weekly check.
Yes.
But how about his whole month of July here? 18 for 57, that's 31% on the win end, 67% in the top 3. 4 stakes over the last 2 weeks. He's been jockey the week 2 of the last 3 weeks. He's trailing Gary Wales 61 to 44. He's closed the gap a little bit. Do you think he can catch Gary Wales this year?
I thought Kevin would be the biggest benefactor of Rocco not being here this year and being
second
out
in the
injured.
standings last year.
Right, and I figured he would kind of move up, but then Gary Wales came and started winning all those races. So I don't know if he can catch him at this point, but it's getting closer. It's getting interesting.
Well, in May, Wales win 15, Kevin win 10. Then in June, Wales kind of pulled away with a 24-12 advantage. Now in July, we see Orosco win 18, including the 4 stakes. But remember that Gary Wales has also won 18 in the month of July.
Wow, he hasn't really picked up that much ground, huh?
Yeah, so
Just the last 2 weeks.
last 2 weeks. And if Orosco were to win 1.5 races per day the rest of the meet, and one race per day for Gary Wales, Wales would still win the title. So Orosco's really got to win
I'm going to say he's going to
almost
do it.
2. Really?
Yeah, when you do
Really?
things like that, you really look good. You don't look that bad when you make an outlandish prediction, because if it comes through ever, people remember that.
Phil, you want $20? I'm gonna take $10.
Yeah,
Joe.
I'm not with you on this one, Joe.
Yeah, okay.
You get odds, though.
Maybe get
I need like
3 to 2?
no,
2 to
like
1?
11 to 1.
11 to 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
We'll
think about it.
negotiate this in the office
Yeah, okay.
after the
All right.
show.
Anyway, Kevin had a
14
great
back.
July with wins and stakes wins and winning percentage as well.
Yep.
So, Chad Christensen had 3 wins last week. Trainer Frank Lucarelli, 7. A 7-win week for our leading trainer over those 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Chad Christensen, 3. And the owner standings now show him and John Parker each with 12 wins. Of course, Christensen's win percentage is quite a bit better, as John, a fantastic supporter of Emerald Downs, 87 starts. Wow, that's a great commitment to our 2019 race meet. Jody Pizza, the One Horse Will Do Corporation, right in there. Todd and Sean Hansen have a couple of stakes-winning horses. And Wanda Munger, the widow of Don, right in there as well. And Peter Redekop, how about that mark right there? 5 for 14. And he owns a little horse called Any Port in a Storm, too. So there's the owner standings. This could be a nice battle toward the end of the year here, Phil.
Yeah, and the way they do owner standings, like 2 putts for the win,
Yeah.
which is Dean Mazuka's groups, but there's slightly different variations of the different groups, so they're all treated differently.
That's right.
But you always have to give a shout out to him because he's in the winner's circle a lot. I don't
Yep.
know what it adds up to, but
With big crowds.
yeah, he invites a lot of
He
folks.
packs
in
them in.
Well, he's brought a lot of people into the game and
Yeah,
ownership.
it's been great.
I've
Yep.
seen him just meet somebody on the rail and start
including
up a
our VP of
conversation.
operations, Bob Frazier, who was in the winner's circle on Saturday, I believe.
Brahms Forest.
Yeah.
So, There's the owner standings, and we're going to have our stat versus stat, and a visiting jockey who has done a lot in this game is going to be at Emerald Downs this weekend.
Yep.
Tease. We'll be back shortly here on Emerald Downs Weekly. Can you pronounce his name?
Practice it. Don't say
Practice
it
it
He's
right
been
now.
here before.
Practice. Well, think better.
You don't want to practice it. Practice it helps sometimes. That's part of it.
He's a jockey.
Emerald Downs Weekly. Joe Withy, Gary Doherty, Phil Ziegler, and racing again Saturday at 5 p.m. And we're going to have a special visitor to Emerald Downs this weekend, Gary.
Yes, a longtime jockey who's been riding. This is his 48th season. Akifumi Kato, coming up from Phoenix to ride here at Emerald Downs. There he is. He's ridden at least 2 winners every year, Phil, since 1972.
And this is a return to Washington because he had a great history at Playfair. He's won races, maybe the only active jockey left that we know of. I doubt there's anybody else. It's won at Long Acres, Emerald Downs, Yakima, and Playfair.
Oh, yeah.
And he won over 1,100 races in Spokane at Playfair and was very well known. He lived in Spokane. His 2 kids born there.
Right.
So he's excited to come back to Washington for a little homecoming, and he's going to ride in 1 race Saturday night in race 5. And appropriately enough, the 67-year-old jockey will be riding for the 95-year-old trainer, Arturo Arboleda, and Cat's Gulch is the horse.
Yes.
Aki the jockey. And
Aki?
he's ridden here several times. We saw
Yeah.
him at Long Acres. As Phil said, he won at all the tracks in the state. You've got some more info on him, don't you?
He won the Playfair Mile, the big race, 4 times, which ties for most all time. Also 2 riding titles at Playfair when he was riding back there in the 70s and the 80s. And again, I don't think any jockey in the history of thoroughbred racing has won 2 races or more in 48 consecutive years. He's won races at Portland Meadows, Billings in Montana, Boise. So it'd be a treat to see him come back here, make his final run through Emerald Downs, ride 1 race. I think Joe's going to interview him. He's a good speaker. He just loves riding horses, and it'd be fun to see him here this Saturday night. Come on out. First race is 5 o'clock, and we'll have a big
What's his name again?
Akifumi Kato.
That's right. Yeah.
So
Aki the
I
jockey.
knew that.
Yes.
You know, I was reading something about him a couple of weeks ago, and one writer, I think he actually wrote it, he said, how can a guy, here's a guy that can buy a sales topper at Keeneland one day and ride a 3,000 claimer the next day. He actually had a nice little career in bloodstock buying and selling horses for some clients.
Yes, bought a horse for over $1 million, I believe, and he'd be back the next day at Turf Paradise riding the $3,000 claimer, but loves riding horses.
And he's
Yeah.
won races here also.
Yeah, he won. I think his last one he won here was in 2002. He
Okay.
was here. He rode opening weekend, 1996,
Wow.
June 20th. That weekend he had 2 mounts, and he came back almost every year and rode a few. And so far this year, he's won 2 races, both at Turf Paradise for his daughter, who's a trainer. So
48 straight
Yeah.
years winning a thoroughbred race, and he'll be at Emerald Downs Saturday night. Okay. All right, stat versus stat. Who's going first? You want me to go first?
Sure. Yeah.
Let's look at some video from 2003 at Emerald Downs as we head into my stat. That was a really good horse. Howard Belvoir trained him for Mike Alhadaff. Sundance Circle. He just blew away his foes in a couple of 2-year-old stakes that year, a son of Cataweiss. And that was Howard's first stakes victory with a juvenile at Emerald Downs. And, of course, he won with 4U only in the NGC this weekend. There's our 2-year-old stakes wins from trainers. Doris Harwood had an incredible run for about 8 years. She's still on top. Frank Lucarelli and Howard are the hot 2-year-old stakes trainers. They've each won 8 stakes over about the last 5 years. And Bud Klokstad in the Hall of Fame. Steve Bullock, a couple of stakes wins last year, and Sip and Fire the year before, and Tim McCanna on the list as well. So Howard's climbing on the 2-year-old stakes win list. He's just 2 behind second. On to you.
that's good.
It's something.
Well, Del Mar's opened up and racetrack in San Diego, and it brought back memories of one of the great Washington breds, Chinook Pass, winning the Bing Crosby Sprint at Del Mar, and his win was the biggest margin in the last 40 years. Since 1975, Chinook Pass, who won by 8 lengths in 1983, is the biggest. Baden Big in 78, he went on to win the Long Acres Mile in 78, and so did Chinook Pass in 1983. But 8 lengths going 6 furlongs, Joe, that's a pretty big margin in a graded stakes event.
That is fantastic. Chinook Pass, always the only Washington Eclipse Award
I'm looking
winner.
for the video. Do we have a video?
And shoot, that is great stuff. Chinook Pass was awesome in his career.
Video.
He went down to Southern Cal and did, well, we talked about him last week. You're kind of glomming on me from last week. I had Chinook Pass and Table Hands, the only 2 Washington breds to win stakes at Santa Anita, Hollywood Park, and Del Mar. And as you can see, Chinook Pass did it right there.
Oh,
so.
Joe, you just supported Gary's stat.
There you go. So,
Well, when you get Chinook Pass in there, you're doing all right.
That's a guaranteed win. And
Guaranteed? Okay, well,
pretty much.
all right.
Unless you would have went with the
Okay.
48 years of Akifumi Kato winning.
that's a good stat.
That's a great stat.
Yes.
all right.
Chinook Pass.
Gary ekes out a victory this week. Wow.
Closing the gap.
All right.
I'm like Orosco.
Well, you lost last week, okay?
Did I?
All right, we'll be right back here on Emerald Downs Weekly.
I like it when you threw your pen down last week, Joe, and called Gary a fool.
Hockey fool.
Well, he was. He's a complete fool.
I watched that
Idiot.
part of the show
Dumb
10 times.
Stupid. Oh, sorry.
Jeez.
Wow.
Joe.
Oh, a lot of bleeps are going in there.
Emerald Downs Weekly on NBC Sports Northwest. And yeah, we're less than 3 weeks to the Long Acres Mile. August 11th, the 84th running of the Grade 3 Long Acres Mile, part of Championship Sunday, Phil. We figure to have a really fine day on August 11th.
And we should tell folks, come on out to the track on that day. We got some great specials. $2 draft Bud and Bud Lights during the races, $2 margaritas, and $2 hot dogs. So you see a championship day of racing, have some great food and beverage specials. Bring the kids, ages 17 and under, always free here at Emerald Downs. So we got a couple of big events with the Corgis on August 4th and then Championship Sunday on August 11th.
Yeah.
We got Run the Mile the day before.
Run the mile. We
Mile.
got the
Lots of
Railbird Rally.
And we should say
I'm going to
Emerald-
jog the
yeah.
mile. I'm going to jog the mile.
EmeraldDowns.com is where all the information is. Catch
true.
up on everything going on.
Well, any port in a storm, Blaine Wright trainee, Peter Redekop owned. Just awesome, really, in the Governors and Budweiser, and skipped the Mount Rainier. So he's the top local horse. More power to him. Just won the Mount Rainier, and he's headed that way. And I think we're going to get several other local horses entered. Let's take a look at a couple of out-of-staters that are looking toward the mile. Solid Wager has built a tremendous career. He's owned by Dave Staudiker, who was in the mile last year with Conquest Windy City. Here's a win of his at Del Mar going 7 furlongs. How about this? He's an 8-year-old now, and that was just a very easy victory in the Cary Grant. Rocky Tough was recently claimed by Fred and Cindy Desimone. This horse was 20 lengths behind. He's the gray over on the left side of the screen there.
Yes.
He was 20 behind in this race, going a mile and a 16th at Churchill Downs in June. And the cameraman kept him on the shot the whole time, and every horse was so small because he was 20 behind. But look at that run at Churchill Downs for Rocky Tough. And the Desimones, they participated in the mile before.
Absolutely.
Great local owners. Glenn Todd of Hastings fame won the mile with Taylor Said back in 2012. That was a career goal for him, and he's looking at it this year with He's the Reason, who recently took the lieutenant governors up at Hastings, and not just a couple weeks ago. And this was a real easy win. He's the Reason's like 5 for 11 lifetime. So Glenn Todd would love to participate in the mile, and he thinks he's got a mile horse there. So John Sadler's expected to nominate, and Jerry Hollendorfer as well. So things will start coming together. Nominations do close this Sunday, July 28th. Long Acres Mile, not far away here for 2019, and some more mile history as we do every week on Emerald Downs Weekly. We'll let you watch that right now. In recent years at Emerald Downs, local connections have come out of the Long Acres Mile with runner-up or third-place finishes and experienced the excitement and payouts that only the mile can bring. Doris Orr's Handy and Bold has been the track's best all-time sprinter with 10 stakes victories, including a record 4 Governor's Handicaps. He was trainer Charles Essex' first mile horse and had a second try in the big race in 2001.
You know, I thought he'd get a mile. You know, he never, you know, he was a speed horse, but he really didn't run off with riders. You know, he wasn't, but he was so fast that it made it easy for him.
It's Irish Eyes Are Flying going up to take the lead from Handy and Bold at the furlong. Then came Mike Kay and Maker's Mark. Irish Eyes Are Flying getting away at the 16th pole from Handy and Bold. And Irish Eyes Are Flying too strong. Irish Eyes Are Flying wins by 2.5. Handy and Bold second.
I thought he got away for a minute, and then the other horse come running late. You know, just kind of got by him. It was his biggest payday, my biggest payday probably too. So that's it.
Washington-bred Demon Warlock was having an outstanding 2004 season for trainer Terry Gillihan and went postward in the mile at 10-1. Jockey Nathan Shaws couldn't get to the outside in the bulky field, so he saved ground along the deeper rail.
Demon Warlock the challenger, a 16th to go, A Dream is Born in front. Demon Warlock the only danger, A Dream is Born holding Demon Warlock, and it is A Dream is Born the winner. Demon Warlock second.
A Dream is Born with Russell Bays won, but Demon Warlock ran a great race, well clear of the 10 others. Co-owner Tim Floyd still manages Demon Warlock, now a successful Washington sire.
Oh yeah, it's 15 years ago now, but it still sticks out. And he was 5 or 6 lengths clear of the third horse and was coming every step of the way and stuck on the rail in the mud, and he really ran big that day.
The $50,000 Handy and Bold and Demon Warlock earned for mile second place finishes were the biggest career paydays for each. The Bonnie Jenny trained Mr. McCaw was third in that same 2004 mile for the Friendship Stable and Frank McDonald. Jenny, daughter of trainer Ed Lewis, was ecstatic.
Going to the breakfast, Frank and I, it was like a dream come true. Neither of our dads had horses ever run in the miles, so we figured that was just a feather in our cap. Well, my daughter and I were standing out in front on a bench, and we got so excited. We're jumping up and down. It was like, hey, we ran third in the mile. It's the most exciting thing we ever did.
Thanks for joining us this week on Emerald Downs Weekly. Joe Whitney, Gary Doherty, Phil Ziegler. Well, we had the Can-Am Cup up in Bellingham, Emerald Downs golfers against Hastings golfers. Our leading jockey, Gary Wales, joined us this year. He's got a really nice swing.
Yeah.
Didn't have his greatest day up there. Either did his partner there, George Colello. And the U.S. was up 9.5 to 2.5 at one point, and then we lost 11 to 13.
How do you
You got a
lose?
7-point lead?
I three-putted too much. That was one of the problems.
Were you guys having beverages?
And not me. Georgie
Maybe you
and
should have.
Gary,
Jeez.
maybe. Don't know for sure. I'm not
9
gonna
to
speak.
Who was
2?
on the other team?
Yeah.
Rob Gilker, who won the mile with Herbie D.
Uh-huh.
John Snow, a trainer up there.
Track announcer?
Randy Golding, he beat me.
9 to 2, we
Randy
lost.
Golding of the Forum. We lost 13 to 11, but we were up 9.5 to
Wow, Phil.
2.5. Yeah, it was bad. You know who was at the track Saturday night here at Emerald Downs was Hall of Fame NFL player for the Seahawks, Walter Jones. What a left side of the line they had with him and Steve Hutchinson all those years.
Absolutely. He was here for the first time, enjoyed it, and we expect him to come back. He had a good time.
That's great. Walter Jones of the Seahawks. Yeah, he was a tremendous. He perfected the art of not going to training camp. He was so good that the Seahawks just had to work it out with him, and they did. And he missed training camp, I think, his last 7-8 years in the league. So
Yeah, we have a lot of ex-players from the area and announcers that you'll recognize when you walk through the stands here at Emerald Downs and track level. Sometimes you
announcers.
do a double take, and that's so-and-so.
Walter was up in the casino after 10 o'clock on Saturday night. I'm just thinking he probably had a few of those steak and eggs.
$3.95 steak and eggs. Nice little segue. $3.95
Yes.
Thursday through Sunday at 10 o'clock in the casino. Walter would have had to have ordered a few, right?
Go for the
deal.
record. Yeah.
But Wayne Cody holds the food record. He would order a triple taco salad at Long Acres.
Triple?
Triple.
What does that mean? You just make a taco salad and then another taco salad and then another one.
And then when he
on
had
top of it.
breakfast at Long Acres, he ordered a loaf of toast. That's a true story.
Was this on the house account? Or, boy, that's kind of a loaf.
A loaf of toast. What else are we talking about on this show? Oh, you're going to talk about this weekend again. What's happening?
Racing all 3 days. Friday night, come out, sign up for the $1,000 horseshoe toss, which is just 40 feet. I think we're due to maybe get a leaner or maybe even a ringer. If you do get a ringer.
We're definitely due.
Think so?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll move people
That doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Get them closer,
but we are
20
due.
feet. We'll fudge the rules. Yeah, we'll think about that. Live music also Friday night. Phil, weather going to be good all weekend, I believe?
Yeah, it's supposed to be nice.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Saturday, we have a Twilight Racing card, 5 p.m. 8-race card. Come out and see Akifumi Kato come ride one last time here in Emerald Downs. He'll be riding for 95-year-old Arturo Arboleda. Also, it's Pride Night. Music upstairs after the races. Sunday, you can bring your kids out, bounce houses, pony rides, wax hands. Phil, you ever have your hands waxed?
No, I've never done that one.
You put your hand in that hot wax and they make something nice for you. And the kids race, which is 110 yards, that will be Sunday between a couple of our live thoroughbred races. So
110. How'd you pick that distance?
Well, we figured the black and white pole, that's 110 yards and a right distance for the kids to run.
I think that's right where we started them last time.
Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah, it's going back to Akifumi Kato coming in.
Yeah.
And having a 67-year-old jockey riding a horse trained by a 95-year-old trainer, which, Gary, you came up with this idea earlier in the season to do this. This is not some gimmick because both of these guys, what makes this incredible is both these guys are active and successful.
Mm-hmm.
That
they both won races this year.
Arturo's won a handful of races this year and runs almost every weekend. He's got action. And he trains 9 or 10 horses at 95 years old. It's really remarkable.
Oh, it is. And, how much has he changed the last 10 years?
Not
to
much.
Me. And same with Bob Meeking, who's 91. You just wouldn't know much difference in him from 1996 when Emerald Downs started. And, of course, he was part of Washington racing way back into the 60s as well. First license in the 40s. But Arturo has got 4 years on Bob Meeking.
I know, it's incredible. Who would you like to see if you could have one jockey make a return that you'd like to watch one more time? Who would it be?
In the Northwest. Well, I know when I first started going out, I liked Tex Hollingsworth quite a bit. He won the mile aboard Red Wind in 1972, and in closing day 73, he won 3 in a row, and I bet him on all those. And
73.
was kind of not having a really good meet that year. Took a month off. I saw, wow, Texas on that horse. I'm going to the track tomorrow on closing day. It was worth my time. But
yeah.
How about you guys?
I liked Chris Loseth. Remember, it was always fun to see him come down from Canada. The track at the time was called Exhibition Park. He'd come down on some of the weekends and ride Long Acres, and he was notorious for getting the lead and going wire to wire. And it was fun to see Chris Loseth.
He won like 3,500 races. Has a race named for him up
Hall
at
of Famer.
Hastings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and growing up in New York, my favorite was Angel Cordero Jr., who he was always gave you your $2 worth. You bet on him.
Yeah.
And back in the day, watching him walk to the track underneath the tunnel there at Belmont, he would be cursed at and cheered in 5 or 6 different languages almost every race.
He ran things. He was tough, wasn't he?
He was. Saratoga. He won Saratoga, 13 riding titles at Saratoga, 14? Yeah. Some number that'll never be beaten.
Yes.
Angel Cordero Jr.
Okay.
Saratoga.
Look at some jockeys in the past, and Akifumi Kato was in the past. He's going to be in the present at Emerald Downs Saturday. Mm-hmm. So we're looking forward to that. And no stake race this weekend, but on August 4th, Sunday, the Corgis, and a stakes quadruple header on Championship Sunday coming up. August 11th, the mile. Also with the distaff for fillies and mares at 1 1/8, which has always been on Mile Day. But this year, the Muckleshoot Derby and the Washington Oaks both on Mile Day. We could see some shippers from certain trainers with multiple horses. It should be a great day of racing.
And the morning starts with a railroad rally out in the park, 11 a.m. Come on out, food and drink, and we'll have some of the jockeys and trainers who are competing on that day's card come out and speak. That's always a fun time out in the park area.
Emerald Downs Weekly. Thanks for watching. We'll do it again next week. See you at the track.
No swearing.
You and you. Both of you that are watching.
That's right, all of you. Charlie the bartender, wherever you
Charlie.
happen to
I meant
be.
to call him. I never did.
Yeah. He's out there watching us somewhere, maybe on YouTube.
Okay. That's a show.